Celebrities everywhere seem to be losing their minds. Whether it's Josh Gad and his crusade on the blue check marks, whether it's Kevin Bacon dancing to, well, stuff that may be a little divisive, celebs are losing it. It's not cabin fever. We finished that a year ago. What's driving these entertainers wild, considering they have diamond-crusted swimming pools? What could it be that they want? They have everything, right? Well, I'm going to explain exactly why celebrities are out of their minds in just a moment. Explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve, and helping you understand the shenanigans of celebrities. It's what we do each and every day here on the WDW Pro channel. If you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you can stick it to the algorithms when you click it. We're talking about that notification bell. Let's start off simply by saying that this is going to be an interesting video. We need to cover it simply because we're trying to explain entertainment, and this requires some explanation. What you're seeing on the screen right now is a tweet from Kevin Bacon. It has garnered a lot of interest, and in it, he is essentially dancing with another individual, another celebrity, dancing in support of, I guess, defending a certain type of performance, let's say. I'm going to be very careful in how I describe this. The only problem is that Kevin Bacon seems to misunderstand the issue, and you're going to find that as we run through the latest, craziest celebrity stuff that's going on in the last few days, which has been amped up to all new levels, that often they simply don't understand what it is they're advocating for, or they're able to identify a problem, but they're unable to understand it, formulate it, and then create a solution. We'll examine why all of that is. In the case of Kevin Bacon, it's clear to me that children are not supposed to be in every single place of society, right? That's something that we have come to understand. Likewise, I don't think that there's any effort underway, any serious effort at least, to ban adults from doing things with other adults, as long as it does not infringe on the rights of others. At least in the West, that's not the case. However, there has been a push as of late for society to re-examine the activities that are going on and whether or not it's appropriate for children. Again, I'm being vague on purpose here. But you might think about that fact that we don't send in children, we don't send them into bars, we don't send them into places where clothing is either optional or begins to be removed over time. I think you can catch my drift on that. There are lots of places that we don't think are appropriate for children, and then that's covered under the law. And those places are not designated as places not for children because of their location in this world. They're designated as such because of the activities that take place. Now, in the case of Kevin Bacon, it seems to me that what he is wanting to draw support for is this thing that has become of interest as of late, and that is having certain types of performances in front of children. That is what is being banned or being looked at being banned across the nation. And so when Kevin Bacon, a celebrity who just had a major hit with Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, when he comes out and wants to raise money to defend that sort of thing, considering there is no effort to just strike it from adults and adults only, but only to strike it from being performed in front of children and featuring children, then that puts Kevin Bacon in the same situation that Disney has been in. And that does not seem wise to me. Likewise, just as I don't think it's wise to put yourself in a position where you're advocating for children to be in certain scenarios that don't seem healthy or conducive and that we all knew was wrong 5 minutes ago, I also think that this video in particular is, well, extra cringy. So all around, not good for Kevin Bacon. But he's not the only celebrity to be losing his mind as of late, and especially not on Twitter. If we take a look at this tweet that was later deleted by Josh Gad, and by the way, normally when you delete something, if you apologize, then maybe we don't bring it up. But in this case, I don't know that Josh Gad has come out and said, you know what, I messed up on this one, but boy, did he ever. In fact, his tweet is so bad that I can't read it to you in this video. But Josh Gad equated people who have the blue check mark now, right, the $8 subscription to Twitter, he equated them to some of the worst people in the history of Earth. That seems to be a bit of, an overstatement. And he says he's just enjoying the validation under this beautiful sun. And you can see he's taken this picture here And it's not a great picture. Again, very cringeworthy, sort of like the Kevin Bacon situation. If you go and you look at Josh Gad's Twitter account, you'll find that at the very top of it, he has pinned this thing where he's not going to let people forget about the atrocities of the past. And the problem here is that in the minds of many of these celebrities, they are fighting evil. But the only problem is that they have misidentified what the evil is. And in the case of Josh Gad, he is now assigning evil to people who simply want to be able to edit their tweets and find $8 to be a reasonable sum of money to pay in order to edit their tweets. Seems fine to me. And also, those people are receiving other services, such as being able to post longer format videos. But according to Josh Gad, if you do that, well, you're akin to one of the worst movements in all of human history. Wow, what an overreaction. I also wonder, is it that if you own a Tesla, since that's far more of an investment than owning a blue check mark, if you own a Tesla, does that also put you in that position? Are you even worse then, according to Josh Gad? Well, I don't know, but it is worthy to say that he deleted this one. He's had some other major tweets, but he deleted that one, and perhaps it's because he realized that, hey, it may not be a great idea to malign this many people when I'm supposed to be in a children's movie later on starring a snowman. And that Mario movie seems to be really kicking Frozen's butt. So maybe Disney reached out and said, hey, how about we cut the division? We probably agree with you on this, but you're going to run off half the audience. So we've already ran half off on ourselves. Maybe we could calm this down a little bit. I don't know. Maybe Disney didn't do that. Maybe he just found it in his heart to delete it on his own. Now, one of the things, too, is that these celebrities, they're losing their minds. Here's Bette Midler's Twitter page, and you can see that she is highly political, of course, but here she is posting to Elon Musk. Elon Musk has unverified me again. I guess he didn't like my gag. And she goes on to attack Elon Musk. She has more, talking about billions of dollars, and you can just read on, and it's nonstop obsession with this little tiny blue check. She and Josh Gad have both changed their profile pictures to be these blue check marks. And, it strikes me as petty, number one, but also, like we said in the intro, these people have everything they would want, seemingly. They have mansions, they have wonderful swimming pools, they have all kinds of services that come in and do all their chores and work for them. They have been put into a very severe place of privilege, much like the individual who is back shooting the film Rust after a shooting that went poorly. You would think they would stop giving him the opportunity to shoot. But these people have intense privilege. They get away with things that the average person would never get. So why do they care so much about this silly little blue check mark? Why is it driving them nuts? Well, I have a theory on this. Before I get into that theory, I want to also explain one other thing.
Make sure to catch The Pro Show Thursdays 5 to 7 Eastern Time. Entertainment Explained, The Culture Curve Conquered, live with Pro and all his friends.
When we're talking about these celebrities and just the craziness that they have bought into, where they believe that they from their lounging with their sunglasses on in what seems to be indoors, who knows, taking selfies right up there. They are the fighters for justice. They are attacking evil. I think where a lot of this comes from is that they don't recognize that inside of all of us lies the potential to be very bad. And we have to constantly check ourselves for that. You might think about the Stanford prison experiment from 1971, in which psychologists ran an experiment where they had people role play being prisoners and guards. And just with very simple and easy pushes for the guards to receive some sort of incentive to act poorly, the people role-playing guards were very easily manipulated into acting as, well, authoritarian, totalitarian, and all-around bad guys. It turns out that within each of us, we have the ability to do good and to do bad, and you can't easily categorize people. We all have to watch ourselves each and every day, and we all have to watch ourselves to protect ourselves from ideological thoughts, and thoughts that might lead us to treat others poorly. In the case of Josh Gad, he certainly treated some people poorly. You don't want to call people who are paying $8 to edit their tweets, you don't want to call them some of the worst people in history. And in the case of Bette Midler, well, she's clearly went insane. She's attacking Elon Musk over and over and over, and that seems to be obsessive, right? In the Christian religion, there was a major, what would you say, a revolutionary thought that came out and impacted Western culture in a great way over the last centuries. And that idea really comes down to the idea that your beliefs, the things that you truly hold to be true, have a major impact on the way that you act out in the world. Now, if you go back and look at the original teachings about that, you'll find that it talks about that a tree will bear a certain type of fruit, and therefore you can know who is quote unquote righteous by the type of fruit that they bear. And so that's really a revolutionary idea, because up until that time, the king always did the right thing because the king is the king, and therefore, by virtue of the fact he's the king, he does the right thing. And before that, it was the emperor, or perhaps it was the pharaoh. Or you get the idea. Might is right, and those who are at the top of the hierarchy, well, they are the ones who do good. And I think some of these celebrities have that same sort of idea. They've been put in these positions of power, but they've not been put in these positions of power for their thinking abilities, right? Josh Gad and Bette Midler, they're not there because they are great at problem solving. Josh Gad is there because he's really good at being a voice for a snowman. Josh Gad is there because he's really good at singing about criticizing Mormonism. Bette Midler is there because she's really good at playing a witch in a movie and other things. Those are not people, therefore, who have a tool set necessarily to navigate all the problems that are present in the world. And so then when they attempt to do so, well, it can have some unsavory results, let's say. Now, speaking of results, I do want to show you this because we want to explain why celebrities are doing the things that they're doing. One of the things that we need to take a look at is a major study that came out about a decade ago called Psychological Profiles of Professional Actors. And this was done, and we'll have the link in the description below. It was done to try to figure out what are the unifying personality traits, by and large, that cause people to want to become actors and then stay actors, again, focusing only on the professional actors. And what was discovered is very interesting. Let's read a little bit of this. The actors' scores on the scales were appropriately distributed in terms of item correlations and scale reliabilities. It goes ahead and talks about extroversion, neuroticism, conscientiousness, agreeableness, and openness, right? Those big personality trait factors. And it goes on to talk about exactly what was found. And the data from this large sample of professional actors show them to be distinguished. That means separated from just the normal sample size average public. They're distinguished from the average public by personalities with high levels of extroversion, openness, and agreeableness. Now, you might think, well, surely they can't be agreeable. You just shown us examples of actors, and by the way, there are lots more. But there are, actors who are agreeable surely would not be doing these things which are divisive, and that's not really true. Here's what this shows, and I think it's very important to notice this. When you're looking at the vast array of different actors out there who have risen to the point of being Hollywood celebrities that people know, they're going to be farther on the spectrum than just a random sample size of all professional actors. However, in that group, you're going to see that they are more or less far more extroverted than the average person. That means that they're going to be out there, putting themselves out there. And well, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because you have to be a little crazy to be a professional actor, because you want your face to be seen. You want to go to places and people know who you are, and you really can't even exist in a normal lifestyle because everybody knows you. And that takes you out of the ability of living with anonymity. Openness is also a major trait of professional actors. And that means that you're willing to play with all kinds of brand new ideas. Openness tends to be a very strong indicator of liberalism, too, classical liberalism. And that can be a good thing. However, when we're talking about these extremes, that's when we'll get into some issues. We'll talk about that in a second. And then finally, agreeableness. And again, actors on this scale, they tend to be very far on these qualities. And so agreeableness combined with openness, combined with extroversion, can do something that's very interesting. When you combine those together at a very far end of the spectrum, what you'll arrive at are people who have such empathy and such an ease at going out and commenting on their empathy for others, that they can put themselves in positions that are untenable to the truth. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that, let's say that you see somebody or a people group who you perceive to be hurting. Well, if you are extremely agreeable, then you're extremely able to navigate social situations, and so you want to fix this issue. And if you're open, well, you're willing to play with all sorts of ideas. And so that means that people who are in a hurting situation, whether or not the situation is of their own making, because you're so open to new ideas, you may forego that perhaps bad ideas can lead people to bad places. And then finally, with the extroversion, you'll actually go out and take the initiative to bring attention to a situation, even if you don't quite yet have all the facts. And that's why we see this so often with actors, far more than any other group, right? You don't see construction workers getting into these sorts of situations. It's actors. Now, I think that actors are under a larger amount of stress than usual now, and that's leading to some serious mistakes. Let's take a look at what these might be. Out of the New York Times from earlier this year, Why People Are Fleeing Blue Cities for Red States. This by David Brooks. There are a lot of us in the Northeastern media who properly spend a lot of time slamming the Republican Party for what a mess it's become. I only have one question. If we're right, why are so many people leaving blue states so that they can live in red ones? Between 2010 and 2020, the fastest growing states were mostly red, places like Texas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and South Carolina. During the pandemic, that trend accelerated, and once again, most of the big population gaining states were governed by Republicans. And it goes on to talk about this situation where so many people are moving to these red states. Now, the blue states, though, are the ones that are usually the havens for these celebrities. And the New York Times comes up with some solutions for why they think this is happening. They say that it's about taxes, it's about pro-business environments, etc. But the bottom line is that where celebrities live are no longer the places that people want to be. And that's a very odd thing. Because what that says is that, once upon a time, people wanted to be like celebrities. They wanted to be where the hubbub was. They wanted to go to Hollywood, right? Beverly Hills, that's where I want to be. However, that's no longer the case. People want to live in the Sunshine State. They want to live in Nashville. They want to live in Austin. They want to live in these other areas. They don't want to live where the celebrities live. And I think that's having a major impact on them. You say, well, surely it can't be having that much of an impact. Well, let's take a look. Out of the Los Angeles Times, California's population is on the decline and high-income earners have joined the exodus. This by George Skelton. It turns out high-income people are also fleeing the state, a new twist in the California exit. Goes on to talk about all of these people who are leaving California, this massive exodus. Millions of Californians leaving the place where all the celebrities used to be. Now that's no longer the case. And I think that's impacting them. But there's one other thing that's really impacting these celebrities that we need to understand as well. And that is that as we are moving forward, many people don't realize this quite yet. But if you take a look at what the Russo brothers, who did the Avengers movies, right, Endgame, they've come out now and they have said that they believe that movies are going to be written by artificial intelligence within just 2 years. And I think very few people are recognizing the transformation that's coming to our society across so many different domains, including script writing, but that's not all. I think that Hollywood celebrities are beginning to realize that they are facing what would you say here, a paradigm shift so dramatic that they could actually lose some of their power and their clout. Not only do people no longer want to be around Hollywood actors, no longer do people find that to be something to be admired. Think about how people have left the awards shows, right? Nobody cares about them anymore. Nobody relatively watches the Oscars any longer. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're seeing now actors being replicated in CGI. And we're seeing now that you can deepfake a celebrity very easily. There's a future that's perhaps within a decade where you no longer as a company need a movie star or a celebrity. And we've seen companies moving away from movie stars. That whole idea is going the way of the dodo. Who's still a movie star? Who's still left? Tom Cruise? Sure. Chris Pratt? Yeah. Tom Holland? Maybe. But there aren't that many movie stars any longer. And people just don't care about them that much. And so I think that these celebrities are beginning to realize that they are running out of time. There's a future where they are no longer relevant, and perhaps they no longer are already. That's partially why this Mario movie has everybody so confused over there at Hollywood. They tried to tank it, and they couldn't. The market has responded in the absolute total opposite direction. It's the same thing with Hogwarts Legacy. And I don't think they know how to handle being irrelevant. They really, really don't. I'll tell you though, there are a few celebrities who are doing extremely well. Talking about Chris Pratt again. If you go look at his Twitter, it's all positive. It's all in service of what he's doing. It's all advocating and marketing his products. If you go and look at Robert Downey Jr., it's the same thing. There are so many celebrities out there who are doing the right thing, and we need to praise them, and we need to talk about how well they're doing as opposed to these crazy people out there, because there certainly are crazy people. And I think that the days of sliming the general public, that's coming to an end, surely. Perhaps if the Little Mermaid movie does poorly, that'll be yet another sign that going out and calling your audience all kinds of horrible names just doesn't work. It's not a great idea. That should have been obvious to so many, but clearly it's not. But there are celebrities out there making good decisions. There are people in Hollywood who really want to give us good stuff. Shout out to the sound designer, the music composer who left a comment on the Mario movie video from yesterday. Shout out to him for making such a positive thing and being so pleasant and putting his talents out into the world. And we need to celebrate those people. And perhaps when we celebrate the people doing the right things, maybe celebrating those celebrities gives honor to the name celebrity and what it should be all about. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you can stick it to the algorithms when you click it. We're talking about that notification bell. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. I don't want to be speaking just in a vacuum. I care about what you think. I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll definitely try to respond to a few of them. Absolutely. You help us know the direction to go on this channel. And don't forget that the Pro Show is 5 to 7 Eastern Time. That's in the evenings, afternoon for some of you. Thursdays, 5 to 7 Eastern. That's the Pro Show Live. Come and hang out with us. We'd love to have you. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
I just found out to get WDW Pro's information, where he gets his sources. I can't believe he uses Wilton!
What?
We got a job to do. It's easy to hack into WDW Pro's computer.
You're kidding me. That's awesome. You know any other stuff?
Yeah, just Jonas Campbell told me.
Sweet.
Said Pro underpaid him or something.
A few minutes later.
There. Oh, awesome. Whatever. All I gotta do is hack into this thing. It's gonna be so easy.
Yeah, this isn't a hack.
Grab this picture over here.
Leave it to me.
Oh, no. Oh, Wilson.
Job done. What?
No, all we had to do was use the picture because he uses face unlock. Now we gotta go to thatpartplace.com and sub to him and his team on YouTube.
Oh, well, I already did that because I'm smart.